Hello class, this is Miss Moriello. This is your lesson on digital annotation following our lesson on manual annotation. Today we spent time downloading our Kindle app onto our Chromebook, so here I'm going to teach you how to operate through your Kindle and how to annotate and customize your reading options. So our current reading in the book we downloaded today were The Narrative of Frederick Douglass. It's going to be our first one right here. So when you open up your Kindle, it'll bring you to your library. It should have all the books that you have downloaded on here. We're going to double click on the book we'd like. It'll open up to our main page here. To customize how you want your reading style to be, up here you have a double A, it's uppercase and lowercase. You can click on that and you can adjust the font size. You can change the words per line, which will widen the pages, and the brightness, so you can have it be darker, lighter, however you choose, which is going to help your reading comprehension depending on your preferences. Also down here for color mode, you could have the background be white, like a conventional book. You can have the black background with the white lettering, or you can have sepia, however you choose. When you're finished, you can go back and click on the double A, and it'll minimize it. As you go through on your Chromebook, you can use the side arrow on your keyboard to go page to page. You can also use these to jump to whatever chapter. So let's say that we were reading a tangible book in class up to chapter 3. You can open up your e-reader on here and start with chapter 4 and it'll jump right to it, okay? Or you can thumb through with the side arrows here. To teach you how to annotate with note-taking, highlighting, and copying and pasting for citation later, we're going to use some of our typical tools. So if we're on an e-reader, we would use the touchscreen with our finger, but since we're on our Chromebooks, it's going to be a copy and paste. So these sidebars here will act to show you the notes that you've taken, and this magnifying glass is a search bar. So let's say that I gave you a reading prompt question about symbolism, and we read the poem If We Must Die by Claude McKay in class. Through our reading, you might say, you know what? I remember an excerpt in here talking about cattle just like they did in the poem in comparison to people. I can't remember what page it is. So you can go right here to the search bar and type in the word cattle, and it'll bring you right to the location where it is. So you'll double click on it and it'll show you right here where the word is. So right here is the excerpt that reminds me of the poem that we had read in class. So if you had a small e-reader like a Kindle, you would drag with your finger, but since we're on our Chromebooks, what we're going to do is highlight the conventional way. So you'll click and you'll drag just like this, and it'll prompt you. It'll say, do you want to highlight, add a note, copy, or more? Say we want to highlight it first. Just click highlight and there, it's done. Let's say that I don't want to forget that I want to link this to the poem. I'll go back over it again. It'll prompt me once more. I can either remove the highlight, add a note, and if we have a big excerpt like this, let's say we remove the highlight and we go here, we drag over, we can add a note and it'll automatically highlight the entire thing once the note is completed. So here I'll type in If We Must Die by Claude McKay as my reminder as to why I'm highlighting this for maybe a future paper or a homework assignment. I'll push save and it'll do both. It'll highlight and both keep a note. So this little notepad up here, later on when I go back, I can click on this and it'll tell me what my note was. And if there's something later on, you can always go back to this and add on for examples A, B, and C that we learned in class. So I'm going to save that. So now you know how to highlight and you know how to add a note. Let's say if we do have this for a homework assignment, I'll highlight it. I can copy. I'll go down to my bar and open up a Word doc, and I can either Control V or Command V depending on our Chromebooks, and it'll copy and paste it with the citation right there. Okay, so how we talked about plagiarism and the correct way for citations, all the information you need is right here. You'll have to tweak it for the MLA format, but at least you know for your Kindle reader, that's where it's located. And it attributes to the title of the book and the entire quote. So you'll add in your quotations, but it makes citation much easier. So I'm going to minimize this and go back to here. So let's say that you're reading it and you're like, oh, you know what? I think it might remind me of another book. You can open up a different book, skim through it, find your other notes, and say, oh, you know what? I really want to go back and figure out where I saw the connection in Frederick Douglass. You can go back to your library, open up the novel, and let's just say for argument's sake it brought you back to the title page and you're in a panic, like, oh no, I don't remember what location, I don't really know how to read these. All you have to do is go down here to the tabbed book and it says notes and marks. You'll open it up and it'll give you a list of all the places that you had highlighted or taken notes. So let's say I really want to go back to where we're talking about the poem. Here it is, If We Must Die by Claude McKay. You know exactly where it is. All you have to do is click on it and it brings you back to the page. Okay? The next one, if you have another, like we already covered, the search bar. Also, if you are just reading along and let's say it's dinner, you have to go downstairs. All you have to do is bookmark it here just in case if you X out by accident or anything, and then you come back to it later. All you have to do is touch here and it'll tell you where your bookmark is. It'll say it at the bottom. So it'll tell you, it'll differentiate between note-taking, highlighting, and bookmarks. So now, for those of you new to the Kindle, you know how to bookmark, you know how to copy and paste, you know how to search, you know how to add notes, you know how to highlight. You also know how to customize your reading. So on here, just so you have it on a regular text page, you can see the difference in how you can edit these. And also another tool you can have is to columnize your pages into 2 pages. So when you're finished here, you can click again on the double A, and right here you can have a B2. So it's really just your reading preferences. Click on it again for it to go back to 1 page. So now, if you have any questions, of course, feel free to email me. If not, you guys are now Kindle pros, so I'll see you tomorrow, and let me know about the certain places that you annotated with your reading prompts, and we'll discuss them right at the beginning of class tomorrow.